Welcome to Fade Rovell, presented by BetMGM. I'm your host, Darren Rovell, and in this show, I, a square, go up against a sharp, and they decide whether they want to fade me or not. And joining us, as has been the tradition during this March Madness, is Stuckey, our Action Network college basketball analyst. And today we're going to be doing the Final Four.
I haven't been fading you lately. I forget what you got last. What did you go with last week?
I was 2-0 last week. Minus the the future was Creighton, and I would still contend that they're in the Final Four, though other people would say they're not. That was a particularly brutal loss, and I think you had a Creighton future as well.
Yep, yeah, from earlier this season. So that was not fun. Missing every three too, but yeah. So I didn't fade you, which was a smart decision. But hopefully we can fade you today.
All right, let's see the material. Before that, we remind you that Fade Rovell is presented by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. They have an incredible offer for new users. Just sign up now using the code ACTION, and you'll get a completely risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's right. With code ACTION, your first bet is on BetMGM. I'm going to start out with San Diego State and FAU. I think San Diego State is going to win. I think San Diego State might win the whole thing. But I think the under is the move here. Let me tell you why. It opened at 132.5. It's now 131.5. I think the reason why it's so high is because FAU scored 79 against a stout Kansas State defense. But the bottom line is that San Diego State has hit the under for the past 12 games. And only three of those 12 have been over 132 points scored. Their defense is good. They shot less than 38% for 2 straight games, which is only the 5th time since 2005 that a team's gotten into the Final Four, having shot 38% in consecutive games, at least starting at least the Sweet 16. So, and then my final thing, Stuck, is the stadium shooting is a reality. This is the stupidest thing that the NCAA does. It's like, it's a totally different game. And I know from having shot in a stadium before, and I stink to begin with, but I stunk extra because to see just the people and the suspended floor and the whole, it's awful. So I think that contributes to the under, and I think that this is going under 131.5. Thoughts?
For what it's worth, totals that have closed 130 or greater, which both of these will, in the Final Four, overs have hit at a 62.5% clip over the past 20 years. My hypothesis is, and games in the Final Four are actually faster than games in the Elite Eight. My hypothesis is
Why?
Well, it's a sample size is small. You're talking about 40, 50 games over the 20-25 year period. But my hypothesis, what's not, what you can tell is that the teams that play faster in the Final Four, you can look at their pace from the Elite Eight to the Final Four. I think that there's a lot of nerves initially, and first half unders in the Elite Eight are usually a good bet, but there's a lot of nerves in getting to that Final Four weekend. And then once you're there, teams kind of loosen up, right? Even you're not in the title game yet, but teams tend to play looser right away. I could never advise going over on a San Diego State game, but I don't like the under. I wish it's getting boring. So not fading, not riding, but I am fading your initial. You kind of snuck it in there. You don't know who's going to win, but you think San Diego State's going to win. I love FAU. I think FAU is going to win this game, and I think FAU is headed to the national title.
Oh my God, that is the great, fine, Gonzaga, Butler, but FAU to the title game is the most it's crazy just to even think about.
2011 all over again. UConn won it all against the mid-major and by the way, we had 2 mid-majors just like this year in 2011 in Houston. UConn beat Butler when they were in the Horizon League in the championship game.
Yeah, but Butler
and I bet we would get a better game. But Butler only scored 42 points in that game. We'd get a better game if it was FAU UConn this year.
Yeah,
UConn's real. Stop not believing in FAU.
Okay, now let's get to UConn not being real in my second game. Okay, so now we do the Hurricanes and UConn. UConn, of course, is a 5.5-point favorite. Now, Jim Larranaga, the coach of Miami, he's covered 33 of 45 games over the last 3 years as an underdog. If you look at the losses, Miami they do not lose by a lot. They have one game, Maryland, where they lost by 18. And then if you look at the other losses, Florida State by 1, North Carolina State, Virginia, Duke by 2, Georgia Tech 6, and Duke 7. I think they cover the spread here. I don't know if if Miami's going to win or not, but I think they cover the spread. I was very impressed down by 12 what they did to Texas, and obviously they tied it. They were down by 12 with 10 minutes to go. They tied it with 3 minutes to go and then won by 7. Very impressed. I think the other factor why this is a little bit higher is because UConn beat Iona by 24, St. Mary's by 15, Arkansas by 23, and Gonzaga by 28, an average of 22.5 points. So those blowouts have kind of contributed maybe to a point and a half higher than this should be. I think Miami is going to cover 5.5.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you Larinaga coaching advantage over Hurley. Miami's been a covering machine all year. They're the second most profitable team in all of college basketball this year against the spread, trailing only Utah Valley. I think they're 22-9 against the spread or something like that. And they're 9-2 against the spread as an underdog. In one of those games, they lost one of their best players in the first minute of the game to an injury. 18-3 against the spread as a dog or a favorite of less than 6. So, you know, as long as they're not a big favorite, they've been pretty good because their defense isn't great. But we're fading you here. I haven't played UConn yet, but UConn's just on another level right now. And look, if you look historically, teams that either get to the championship or win it all, you can't have a defense that grades out this poorly. Miami's not going to score 90 forever. I got to give a ton of credit to Larinaga, to those guards, Jordan Miller, O'Meara. They're all playing so well.
Yeah.
But they also don't have depth. There's a huge risk of foul trouble here. UConn should kill them inside. The Huskies are playing at another level. I respect Miami, but I like UConn here. I haven't bet them yet, but I make this line a little higher. I will be on UConn money line in some fashion, and you just kind of pushed me over the edge. So I'll throw a couple shekels on UConn against the spread as well. So finally, we can fade you here with UConn.
You know, you are right in that Miami's stars have to score a lot of points. That's unlike any of the other teams. Like FAU is perfectly distributed. San Diego State, I mean, UConn, if one guy gets shut down, but if like Nigel Pack gets shut down, if some of those guys, the top guys who score more than 10 points a game for Miami get shut down, they lose.
Well, I'll tell you, if O'Meara gets in foul trouble, I mean, they have no depth on the front line.
I agree.
He's huge on the glass. Bet UConn live. It is similar. It's the same thing would happen with Timmy. Once Timmy got in foul trouble, good morning, good afternoon, good night, Gonzaga. It's over.
Yeah,
and there's a big risk of that.
Rebound the ball.
There's a big risk of that. They're going to have to help them, and then in the post, they're going to have to hope UConn misses open shots, which they haven't been doing. The UConn's on another level right now, but I mean, look, Miami, all they do is cover, so we'll see. But I'm fading here.
Okay, so you're going to fade me again because my future here, great value in plus 400, San Diego State. I just like this team. I really like this team. I think that they're underrated, even though they squeaked by. I think they're underrated, and I think they beat FAU. And is UConn at minus 125 a great value right now? I don't know. I mean, I'd rather go with San Diego State. You have think the values in FAU, having just seen what you told me.
Yeah, I think FAU has that. I mean, I make this game a toss-up, but you can get a better price on FAU out there. And I think a lot of that is just people still aren't giving FAU enough respect. Like, well, you said, it's ridiculous that FAU's there just because people don't watch Conference USA. Look, Conference USA has the NIT champ, the CBI champ, and they could have the NCAA champ from 17-1 in the postseason. I mean, this team is real. I would have them favored on a neutral court over Miami. They don't have any glaring weaknesses. I don't think San Diego State could score enough against UConn. I actually think Florida Atlantic could have a better shot. I think the value, if you're going to bet a future with what's left, take a shot on the Owls. So fading, yeah, we're fading you again. Of course, this is nice. We're back to our roots.
We're back to fade Rovell, not stay with Rovell. So that's the name of the show, and Stuckey has faded me on the last two. San Diego State FAU under 1 to 31.5 did not necessarily fade me there. Miami plus 5.5, UConn, like he likes UConn. And I like San Diego State, and he says take FAU, the value on the future. Good luck, Stuck, for the Final Four, and be sure to subscribe to YouTube to watch all our Fade Revells or any other content from the Action Network. Are you joining me or fading me? You decide. Good luck, everyone.